Thank you for being here with me this morning for Shabbat experience together. Share just a quick piece of Torah with you. I know I shared so much of teaching from our tradition this morning, but just a brief word from this morning's Parshat Bamidbar. The wilderness experience, as I mentioned earlier today, Jews essentially spend 38 years at this moment. It's a holding pattern. You can see the Jewish people circling around trying to land, the difficulty they're having. They seem to be wandering without direction, though the Almighty has a plan. And there's this amazing moment in this week's Parshat, the beginning of the book of Bamidbar, in which God takes a census of the Jewish people. It says, Mi ben esrim shana v'malako yotzei tzava b'Yisrael, that there are going to be people who are going to be counted as a census because they will take up arms. They'll be the warriors for the Jewish people. Every society has distributed the roles of every individual. And in this case, the role of the soldier is the one that's highlighted. One of the great philosophers, one of the great Jewish philosophers of the 20th century, and I say one of the greats because, as Rabbi Ira Stone points out, he's one of the few crossover philosophers of the Jewish people. And what I mean by crossover philosophers is somebody who has made an extraordinary impact on the way we view Judaism, but it also has an incredible impact on the way the outside world, outside of the Jewish world, has grown to understand their place in society. And has added so much to the philosophical discourse, a man named Emanuel Levinas. Emanuel Levinas has a wonderful theory about God and humanity. And in this theory, he says something quite beautiful. He says he's not sure that God cares about each individual and their wants and their desires and their prayers. God is not an immanent God when it comes to the individual. He says, however, God is concerned mightily with the communal project, with the communal experience, with the communal experiment. Emanuel Levinas says, we are only as good as the contribution that we make to the society as a whole. Mi ben esrim shana v'mala kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael. Everybody who's 20 years and up and who's going to go out to fight in the army of Israel. Those are the people that we're focused on today. And then the text uses an incredibly interesting word, tifkedu otam. Regularly, we translate it as we count them. Tifkedu otam. Robert Alter, an incredible Bible scholar, in his translation of the Torah says, you shall reckon them. You should point them out. In a different part of the Torah, Rabbi Alter changes that translation from reckon to singling out. You see, this word tifkedu otam pakad is a word that we know well because I mentioned it earlier this morning, because it's the word that's used when God singles out Sarah and says she will be the mother of our nation. As it says in Breshit, Adonai pakad et Sarah kasher amar. That God singled out Sarah as God had said God would do. Every one of us gets singled out at some point in our life for something, for some task, to be present in a moment that will pass by if we don't stand in that place. Rashi, on that word, on Adonai pakad et Sarah, that God singled out Sarah, writes as follows, Samach parsho lechan lilamedecha, that this parsha of Sarah being singled out is right next to the moment when Abraham prays for her, in order to teach an incredible lesson. Shekol hamivakesh rechamim al chavero v'hu tzarich le'oto davar hu na'aneh techila. Rashi says, anyone who prays for the mercy of someone else, of a friend, of a neighbor, of a person nearby, and he needs that same thing, but he's praying for someone else, that will happen for both that person and for him or herself. Wow. Amazing. Rashi says, put aside your own wants and needs and desires and think of someone else, and you will find that your prayers will be answered. And what you ask for someone else, you'll receive in return. Kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael tifkedu otam. Everyone is singled out for a purpose. Everyone has a meaning and an achievement to accomplish. Says Rashi, it's not all about you. Think of somebody else and what their purpose is. Think about someone else, not about what you're supposed to do in this moment, but figure out how to help someone else achieve what they're supposed to in this moment. Don't think about yourself. Think about someone else. Think about who you have to be present for. You see, God is not concerned, says Emmanuel Levinas, with you. God's concerned with us all. God's not concerned with what you're going to achieve, what you're going to amass, what you're going to accomplish. God's concerned about what we're all going to be able to do together. Stop thinking about yourself for 1 minute. Don't be so self-absorbed. Think about somebody else. Shekola mivakesh rachamim, says Rashi, anybody who pleads for the mercy, for the rachmanis, for the compassion of somebody else, hu tzarich le'oto davar, and you want it, you'll get it, don't worry, says Rashi. Compassion is abundant. There's enough to go around. Don't think of only yourself, think of others. And your needs will be met in the future, I promise you, says Rashi. And so that's my message for us this morning. It's easy to think about, what do I need in this moment? When we are plagued by this disease, what do I need? What do I need to survive? How much can I amass so that I'm ready and secure and safe in this moment? Rather think about somebody else. So I'll offer you one simple suggestion this week. Just try this once this week. Think of the moment you're about to leave your house to go outside to do something that's required of you, supermarket or whatever. Think about putting on a mask. Think about putting on a mask not to protect yourself, but to protect other people. When you put on your mask, you show that you care about other people. That whatever you're carrying around on your own person isn't going to be transmitted to someone else. And if we all do that, what we'll find is the blessing will be returned to us. If we look out for somebody else's health and well-being, we'll find that we have protected our own health and well-being. Shabbat Shalom. I have to tell you, I think I've completely worn myself out this time. Each week I think I must say this at the end of every week. I'm going to have to go back and watch the videotape after Shabbos on the last couple of weeks, but every week I think I seem to have exhausted myself more. I don't know if it's because I'm putting more in or if I'm just more depleted every week when we get here, but I've exhausted myself here this week. So here are a couple jokes. I want to thank Martin Strick for sending these to me because he sent me a bunch of these this week. Not all of them I can do, so I apologize, Marty, but here's one. To be honest, I've wanted to spray a lot of people with Lysol before all this started. Lockdown update. Today, I melted an ice cube with my mind just by staring at it. It took a lot longer than I thought it would. See how bored we are? Okay, so here's an exercise I want you to do. How many believe that this is going to be over in 2 weeks and everything in life will return to normal? If you believe that, please raise your hand. Now, slap yourself with it. No, don't slap yourself. That would hurt. We don't believe in inflicting physical pain on ourselves. We like emotional pain, but we don't like the physical pain, right? So coronavirus, number 1, 6 feet distant. 2, no hugging. 3, no kissing. 4, no social interaction. It's like being married with a cough. I'm kidding. Sharon, don't get all upset, please. The world is now Vegas. Everyone's losing money. It's acceptable to drink at all hours of the day, and no one has any idea what day of the week it is. There are a couple of these that are visuals that I can't hold up. They're funny, but they're visuals. I can't hold them up because you won't be able to see them. They're very little on the page, right? If you wear your jeans 5 days in a row, they become all baggy, and it looks like you're losing weight. Follow me for more quarantine life pro tips. For those whose weddings were canceled due to COVID-19, God's given you a second chance to think about it. Just kidding. What I found interesting on the Facebook these days is since the beauty salons have been closed, selfies dropped like the stock market. This is my favorite one, and I'll stop with this one. I'm starting to miss people I don't even like. All right, that's not true. I love everybody. Have a Shabbat Shalom, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Quickly, Bimhei Rabbi Amenu, together here in the sanctuary.